I was out for a walk one early morning, heading up a hill behind the park, when I noticed a flock of Canada geese walking down a grassy slope, coming out of the woods. I've not spent much time thinking about where the wild geese sleep, but I'm pretty sure they don't have the right sort of feet to roost in trees. So I don't know why they'd spend the night in the woods. But that's a question for another day. In any case, they were making their way quite deliberately down the grassy hillside and across the road, marching sedately in ones and twos, headed toward the water for their morning swim. As one might expect, a car came up the hill, intending to proceed along a route that was not blocked by these slow-stepping geese. The driver stopped, paused, then honked. The geese continued a leisurely march toward their lake. The car honked again with more urgency. I watched, wondering, what do geese think we're saying when we honk at them? As the goose parade continued, step by deliberate step, I heard a young voice sing out from the car, "Just run them down." More loud and urgent honking from the car. The geese held their silence, each paying no attention to anything other than the geese beside them and in front of them. Finally, the last goose was safely across, and cars once again owned the roadway. As I watched and then continued on my way, passing in back of the car, just in case the driver decided to act on that urge to run something down, I thought about how we make our way through the journeys in our lives, from woodland to lake, up and down the hills and across the roads. One thing I know is that we must move at our own pace. An intentional, well-orchestrated journey of change must take place at a speed that suits those who walk the path together. Proceeding in ones and twos, consulting with each other as to the direction and the details, reassuring each other when the cars honk or voices cry out, "Go back, go faster, stop, get out of the way, or you'll get run down." Continuing on my walk that morning, I found myself thinking what a pleasure it is to be on a journey of change with a congregation. Let us care for one another as we move along the path, making sure that we're together as we go, honking only to support each other, returning always to the loving center of a beloved community. So ends the reading. Our mission here at First UUPB is to transform lives through liberal religious community. I can honestly say that my life has been transformed by coming into contact with all of you. I had no idea when I walked into our sanctuary 9 years ago that I'd stand at the pulpit giving sermons, or that I'd become a board member, much less a temporary human resources director. Now, I haven't exactly been an HR director. I've been the chair of the selection committee, which was tasked with working through the UUA's ministerial search process to find an interim minister. Our search was a success. Before introducing Reverend Ed to you, Lauren, Rachel, and I would like to say a few words about the process, what we've accomplished together so far. and what we have to look forward to as a congregation committed to interim ministry. Last summer, as we entered into a period without a minister, I had the privilege of leading a service. At the end of the sermon, I quoted President John F. Kennedy's famous "We choose to go to the moon" speech. My message, borrowed from the speech, was that change and transition are hard. But when we have a clear goal, like going to the moon, or pursuing the challenge of interim ministry, that goal serves to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. That's exactly what's happened for our congregation. Talented, dedicated members have stepped forward. The Sanctuary Services group, comprised of Dick Hatwick, Larry Stauber, Nikki Albert, Sherry Campbell, Arthur Morrison, Rachel Melcher, Judy Kraft, Lynn and Ken Pernesny, Ben Jewell, and David Troutman, formed and took over the planning and scheduling of our services. They brought in a variety of speakers and ministers that have made Sunday services vibrant and engaging. And a special thanks to David, who facilitated moving our Sunday services to Zoom and continues to oversee all of the technical aspects of the online services. The congregation has thrived under the leadership of this important committee. Last fall, Steve Pock, Sherry Campbell, and I connected with the UUA. As a result of that consultation, Sherry organized and facilitated the cottage meetings that allowed us to dream about our future and to celebrate what we love about First UUPB. Sylvia Ansig, Suzanne Schluter, and Mary Mansfield also helped facilitate those meetings, and many of you participated. The cottage meeting report Sherry drafted has served as a platform for helping us clearly define our goals for the future. At the February service I led, the topic was agape, the love that ignites the flame of community and binds us together. At that time, we were in the midst of the most successful pledge drive in our congregation's history. Thank you to Dory Maxwell for chairing the stewardship committee, and thank you to the rest of the committee members, Bob Shipley, Rachel Melcher, Drew Davis, Diane Curry, and Steve Pock. The success of the pledge drive gave us the confidence and security we needed to continue our pursuit of interim ministry. I'd also like to thank our 2019-2020 board members for all of their help and support. Carrie Woolwin, Linda Hartley, Colleen Conway, Helen Starr, Betty Richards, Rachel Melcher, Pat Knight, Steve Pock, and Ramsey Lang. And thank you to our new board members, Suzanne Schluter and Diane Curry, for their support this last month. The strong leadership of so many of our members has carried us through this last year without a minister and with facing the challenges of a global pandemic. We have much to look forward to as we welcome Reverend Ed. The goals of interim ministry are very specific. Together, we'll have the chance to celebrate our heritage and history as a congregation. We can look forward to reviewing the needs of our membership and the ways we organize new and effective leadership. We'll have the opportunity to define and redefine our sense of purpose and direction. We'll explore ways to revitalize our relationships beyond our congregation, and will work to position the congregation for its next phase of ministry. There is much to be grateful for and much to celebrate. I look forward to continuing this journey with each and every one of you.